All right, now that we have this composition created, let's look at how to export it so that we can save it and, well, you can save your composition, but we also want to upload it to Moodle when you're done with your projects. But we don't want to send an After Effects project. We want the result of the After Effects project, which will be a, in this case, a video file, a movie file. So first I'm going to save my project because I haven't done that yet. So I'll just hit Command S for save, and I'm going to call this, I've done this a couple times already, so this will be version 3. Okay, so now that it's saved, now we have to export. And in this case, we're going to export the entire thing from start to finish, but it's not actually called export. You'll notice under the file menu, there is no export. Instead, what we're going to do is we are going to add this composition to the render queue. The render queue is a list of things that you want to render from the file. So I'll say add to render queue. And now you notice we get another tab down here. It's the render queue tab, and this is what it's going to look like. In order to export this, we need to identify these 3 bits of information. We first need to decide, well, what settings do we want it rendered at? For this project, you want it the best quality, full, you want all of this. The only thing you might have to change here is if you don't want the entire timeline, we can edit this to be portions of it. But here we want the entire timeline, so these settings are all good. Where it says lossless, I'll click on that. And you want to set yours to be QuickTime. It's going to be the best for me. And then where it says format over here, we want to make sure this is RGB, but when it says format, it's right now set to animation by default. To make our file a little smaller, we'll set it to H.264. And that's just a video codec. It's a way of storing the video to give us good quality, but also to be a smaller size. And each one of these has a different purpose, but for this case, we'll just use H.264. Now hit that, and then hit, oh, that's all the settings we need to set here. And I'll hit OK, and I'll hit OK. And now you'll see this here says best settings, and the change we made says a custom QuickTime. That's what we create. The last step is to give your the file that you're writing out a name. And you'll see here it put this name here. Sometimes if it's your first composition or first time you're rendering, it actually won't put anything into this field, and you'll have to click on it to set a name for your file. And I'm going to set the name of my file to be whatever. In this case, I'm just going to set it to be Window Menu System 2 because I already have the original one that we were looking at earlier. And I will hit save. And that's all I need to do. Once a name is set, the render button will show up here. And I can hit render, and it's going to go through the process, and this should be relatively quick. It's a short piece, and there aren't a bunch of effects in it, so it's going to render out relatively quickly. And there it is, it's done. And now if I actually go back to my desktop where I saved it, here is the file we just created, and I could preview that. And there's the thing we just created. So again, all we did here was we rendered our composition, and we did that by selecting the composition that we want to render, choose the add to render queue from the composition window. When it popped up, and you notice here that the last time I rendered it shows up right here. And so we can sort of see what those settings were, and I can expand these, set any more. Sometimes you want to render something because one little thing didn't show up right, or the composition or the compression was too much and it looked a little grainy, so you want to make adjustments. This is a queue of things, so I could render out again, give it a slightly different name, maybe change this setting here. You know, we did QuickTime, we did H.264 the last time. Maybe I want to see what it looks like at animation as well. And so I hit OK and hit render, and then it's going to render it again. It's going to ignore the first one because that one is done. This one is currently rendering, and now this one is done. Again, if I go back to my desktop, I will see a new version of it here, and this is the one that was just rendered using the animation codec. So that's that. Those are all the steps involved. I'm going to make one last short video here, and this video is just going to show a couple of extra tips that you can add to the piece just to enhance